Hey there, thanks for clicking on the video. I'm Luke.
I'm Chris.
We are the Creative Criticals, and we just watched King Kong vs. Godzilla, or maybe it's switched. We can't remember.
Yeah, the monster movie.
Roll the intro. Godzilla versus Kong, or Kong versus Godzilla. One way or the other, what were your thoughts on the film that we just watched?
Whatever your bias is, that's how you say the movie. It was an epic movie, and it was a good one to go back to the theaters and see.
Yeah, we haven't, I don't know, how many movies did you see once the pandemic started?
In the theater, zero. The last movie I saw, no pun intended, was Endgame in the theaters. That was the last theater movie I saw. So it's all been at home, and it was nice, man.
Yeah, so I got to see a handful of movies during the pandemic, and I've got to say, tonight when we watched it, much more people there.
Yeah,
it was a packed house. Thankfully things are safe enough where we are, where people can be out and about again, and so we were able to watch a movie with a packed house. It's pretty great.
Yeah, it was pretty cool. But was it great though?
It wasn't great, but getting in and out of the movies during COVID was pretty much a breeze, and yeah, it was a bit of a headache. But anyway, watching a movie with people the way movies were intended to be watched, it was fantastic.
Overall, I thought, and again, we're the creative criticals, so it's our job. It is our delight and pleasure to watch things and enjoy things and then be critical about it. Overall, I just thought it was a good time. It's one of those movies where you would really have to nitpick to find things that you didn't like. But overall, it was just a good time. You know, it's not a character study. It's not a, thought-provoking movie, but it's a good time, and it's a darn good time.
Yeah,
they did a good job.
Some things I love about it. I love the monster fights. They were every bit as epic as they were marketed as. I mean, every time King Kong and Godzilla were fighting and they were on screen, it was there were some breathtaking shots. There were some times where I was seeing things I kind of amazed as to how they captured that. It looks as real as you could imagine, if those things were real.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, there were some breathtaking shots. One in particular, possible spoiler. Possible spoiler. So if you care about spoiler, then
get out of here.
Get out. We're gonna talk about it now. It's worth going to see
for sure.
There was one shot where King Kong is being chained to a ship, and there's just a lot of those shots right there where he's on the ship just were beautiful. It's like, whoa. Yeah.
And not even the monsters themselves. A lot of the locations they shot, and there's one specific location they call the Hollow Earth or something like that,
Hollow Earth,
where it's like physics and everything is just kind of flipped, and it's very Inception-ish type of look, and it's just like really beautiful. So you throw in the monsters and stuff, but even without those, like, it was just filmed really well.
Yeah.
You can tell they were really passionate about the movie. So
yeah, I mean, I love that they followed King Kong. It kind of gave King Kong a purpose other than just being a big ape that beats things up. You got to follow him back to his home, which is, spoiler, in Middle Earth, or Hollow Earth, not Middle Earth. And they gave one of my favorite things. They made King Kong epic. He was big, and he was a beast, and he was intense, and they gave him a battle axe, which sounds like it could be cheesy, but no, it worked really epically. He
sweet axe.
Started swinging that axe, and it was like, wow, so King Kong is not only big and scary, but he's got a nice battle axe.
Yeah, and speaking of big, there was one shot in the movie that you've brought up a couple of times where it's the classic King Kong on top of a building, like in the old King Kongs, it was the Empire State Building.
Yeah, Empire State Building.
But if you could see King Kong in those movies, like, he's pretty, he's large, quite large, but as like compared to Godzilla in those films, he would have been small. He grew very much so.
They blew him up to a really big proportion.
Yeah.
If I could be, like you said, you'd have to be nitpicky to find a nitpicky thing. There's one thing that I would nitpick, and it's one of the characters, one of the human characters. It's the boy who follows around Millie Bobby Brown. He has absolutely no purpose whatsoever in the entire film other than to be scared when things start to happen.
Yes.
And I don't really know what he like, because all the other characters, you get the purpose for why they're there. You kind of get a little bit of character development, especially with Millie Bobby Brown. The podcast dude was hilarious.
Yeah, he was great.
And you kind of felt a sense of like development with him, like as the movie's going on.
It made sense why he was there.
Right, made sense why he's there. This other kid, it's like, why are you even here?
Yeah, I think it was an unnecessary comic relief.
Right.
Like when the podcast guy was funny enough, and I think they just put him in, I guess, to throw a little more laughs in there. But a lot of his jokes kind of landed flat.
Yeah.
Little remarks that he would make was just like, why are you?
Really, just kind of a useless character.
Yeah.
But other than that, like, that's still a nitpick, though.
Sure.
It wasn't distracting enough from the movie. I
forgot about those moments pretty quickly.
It's like that, and it's over. And he didn't have a lot of screen time, thankfully. It was mainly focused on King Kong and Godzilla. And massive spoiler, a big robot Godzilla.
Oh yeah.
Which the robot did look pretty cool. I was initially disappointed with the first time I saw it. I was like, "What's going on?" But whenever it like animated and started fighting, and I was like, "Okay, that's pretty cool."
Mm-hmm.
So
yeah, I was like, how is this thing really gonna stand up? Because all Godzilla or King Kong really has to do is just pull a bolt out, or like push you in the water because machines. But no, they made him look really cool. Like his movements and stuff wasn't janky. I was thinking it was gonna look like old Power Ranger janky.
Right.
It wasn't janky. Like especially his like a hydro beam or whatever it's called. It was really pretty sick.
I'd have to say it's one of the best as far as CGI goes. Probably one of the best I've ever seen. Especially when you got a monster movie. Definitely the best I've ever seen. Some of the special effects. I would love to see how they made some of it happen. Because it's just stunning.
Yeah, for sure.
Some of the things they were able to pull off.
No doubt.
Anyway, so with the movie, if you were to give it on a scale of 1 to 10, what would be a good score that you'd give it?
So, being the first movie back in a theater, I don't have a lot to compare it to. I haven't seen the more recent King Kongs and stuff. I think I'm going to give it a 6. I think I'll give it a 6.
Compared to the other King Kong movies, Skull Island was good, but compared to the other monster movies in this sort of universe, this one was hands down the best one that they've made, and it was one of the shortest ones that they've made, which kind of
true.
It made
didn't drag on.
Yeah, it didn't drag on. It didn't overstay its welcome. I would actually give it an 8.
Okay.
So. It's not like a masterpiece of cinema. I'm not gonna put it on an all-time list or anything, but it was an hour and a half that I thoroughly enjoyed and was worth getting into a movie with friends,
For sure.
So I'd give it an 8. So the overall score, 14 out of 20. Not bad for King Kong versus Godzilla. Or Godzilla versus Kong. I really should look that up. It'll be right on the video title.
Put in the comments what you think the movie is.
All right. Well, if you liked what you saw in this video, please consider liking, commenting, and subscribing. We're brand new to the YouTube, and we're going to be putting out tons of content like this, movies, music, all kinds of anything creative. That's why we're the Creative Criticals, and maybe even some of our own little bit of creations.
That's right.
On here. So anyway, thank you guys. We'll see you in the next video.